So good evening everyone, let me just switch on the camera. So hi, here we are, we're up, we're live, and I need to change the bloody settings of that thing again. 2 seconds while I get this up and running, get the live chat on the screen for other people to read that struggle to read it. Still haven't transisted that over. There you go, you can now see me. So hi everyone. And let me just get my screens in place, because you need lots and lots of screens to do this. Hopefully you can all hear me, and we'll start getting through your questions. So Happy New Year to everyone. So a lot of you will know I spent my Christmas and New Year in Egypt this year. It was nice, it was all right. I don't think I'll go back, but nonetheless, it did what it needed to do. The Valley of the Kings and the temples and all that kind of stuff was absolutely amazing. But I'm looking forward to getting back on a platform here in the UK. So there's a few of you there. I'll just let the audience come in. Say hi to everyone, because everyone says hi and it just gets a little bit weird just saying hi Paul, hi Jeanette, hi Steve, hi. That just gets a little bit weird. So it's about keeping this very simple, straightforward, easy, bite size. If you've got a question, someone else will have that question. So we're looking to help lots and lots of people upon their development in their mediumship. So keep the questions firing in. I will keep answering, and when they dry up, I will go off and watch the rest of Luther or something like that. So, so I'm glad you can all join me. I don't think I've got anything to advertise, which is a little bit strange. I think I've got a place on my mentoring program for next year, but that's fast approaching, so you are running out of time now if you are looking for any kind of mentoring from myself and my small group. I was going to get all dressed up for it, you know, to get out the t-shirt and take off the beanie hat, but that would not seem real. This is who I am in the evenings. I like being comfortable. Beanie hat is comfortable for me. It means I ain't got to do my mop hair or anything like that. So should we start getting through some questions? Should we start diving into your development queries or your understandings of mediumship? I've got my phone to hand. There is one I've got to jump onto because someone asked me on Instagram a question. So that's probably a good point to let you know that I am on Twitter, I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook pages, and of course YouTube. So let's go through them. Let's see where we're going, and this will last as long as your questions last. I'm certain I will regret that one day, but no fixed time slot to end at the moment. So Rosie says, yeah, I've waited ages for this, so I better get my phone on charge and get my earphones out, or the husband will be tutting. Okay, that's I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but thanks for joining us. So did I see a question there? I did. So Paul Gilby, I don't recognise the name there, so welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you aren't already. I have a question. What is the easiest way to open up to spirit, and how do you know if you have a female or male energy with you? So that's a great question, and I'm sure lots of you have encountered this scenario that Paul is talking about. And many of us make it very, very difficult. So let me get rid of my watch. It's getting on my nerves. We make it very, very difficult for ourselves. We go through this ritual. We've got to sit and we've got to sort of get our mind in gear, and we've got to focus our breath, and then we move our intent towards the spirit world. when actually it happens in an absolute moment. You know, it's immediate. The moment your mind is there, you just shift your mind, and as you move the mind to work, so the moment your intent goes to work, it's already happening. The ritual that you have to go through, the ritual that you go through, is one that you're trying to check the marker points. You're always looking, you're trying to raise awareness. And this ritual, you start relying on this ritual, and it's something that you don't need to do. You move your mind there, and you're already with the spirit world. To decide is the wrong terminology there. To understand which one you have, a male or a female, is actually something that's very, very simple. You can bring this into your everyday life. You know when you're working with a female. You know when you're having a conversation in real life, because their energy, their tone, their demeanor, their dress, their whatever it is that they do, you know is a female. And likewise for a male. And that is no different in the mind. When we're working mediumistically, I can feel them, I can feel their energy, I can feel their feminine, I can feel everything about them being a woman, and equally I can feel everything with being a man. And so what we've got to do is lose the complicating factors to that. What we're trying to do is we're checking and feeling for the markers all the time, when my mind is already there and I know that the spirit world wants to talk to their loved one. They want to work with me. And so in that moment, every thought that I take up with, have I got it right? Am I connected properly? Who is it? What am I doing? Is one thought less that the spirit world can use, because I am occupying the space with rituals, with what's going on. So I try to liken it like a glass or a bottle of water. Let me swap my camera so I can see what I'm doing. So when I've got a bottle of water, the idea is that I empty as much of this water in my mind, which will symbolically here will go, is my thoughts, that's what's keeping me breathing and keeping me very much alive here in the physical. But I allow the rest of the bottle to be filled by the energy of the spirit world, that of the communicator. The more and more I'm running rituals and using markers and am I at the right place, which we do when we're developing, is I'm taking up an extra space with all these extra thoughts, leaving a smaller amount of space for the spirit world to work with. So I hope that makes sense to you, Paul. So Steve, oh God, that jumped massively there. Okay, so Steve LeVar Cord TV. So Steve, hi Charlie, can you please tell me how to keep the communication open with spirit longer than 10 minutes? I sit in the power, but not sure why it doesn't last longer. What happens is that when you get into a habits of only doing practice readings for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. What happens is that your reservoir, I'll use the bottle again, let me swap camera again. We build a reservoir that we can use for communication. And so in development, we do about 5 or 10 minutes, and before you know it, all our fuel is gone. And so at the end of circle or at the end of class, maybe this is an hour or two, by the end of it, you're actually tired, you know, and then you do a one-day workshop, and at the end of it, you're tired because you're getting used to using this differently. And so the way to make the communication last longer is obviously practice longer. Say that I want to do 20 minutes. I want to do 30 minutes. And all readings should be about 30 minutes. It doesn't need to be an hour. It doesn't need to be 45 minutes. You can actually do all the communication and the evidence within a 30-minute window. And so what happens is you get used to using this constantly for a 30-minute sitting. And the only thing that I do differently to you, Stephen, is that I use this more efficiently, where I'm not looking for markers and I'm not looking for the checks and am I going to fail at 10 minutes? Is it going to work for me after 15 minutes? You're using fuel in that motion. So my advice would be your circle or your your circle, your practice, your sitting in the power needs to be longer than what it is that you're trying to achieve. So you can't just do it for 10 minutes and only 10 minutes, then after 10 minutes wonder why everything's going wrong for you. You need to extend it. So if you want to be doing 30-minute readings, but you want to do it for 2 times over, so you want to do back-to-back sittings, you need to learn to hold the energy for 1 hour. And so that's where your development comes in. That's why it can't happen overnight. It's bit by bit by bit that you're learning to efficiently use the spiritual energy that we have. I hope that makes sense. So pop it down in the comments below if that doesn't make sense to you, and I'll try again there for you, Stephen. Hi, Stephanie. Nice to see you in. Bev, good evening. Nice to see you back. Do you know, I actually feel good to be back. My back's still not correct. I'm still having to take it very easy. It's very delicate, but you know, I love my work. I love my teaching. I love the YouTube thing, and I love the platform. So I'm really looking forward to getting it up and running again, and you know, getting the diary back into full flow. My annual holiday period is now over, and I'm looking just to crack on now and get it done. So nice to see you back in the chat there, Bev. So thanks for joining us. Kim Parnell, hi. I would like to know if on platform, how do you keep the line going? The questions are, I must say, they're getting much better. However, I need more and more props now. So let me. Oh, I've got a sticky pad. This is perfect. So oh, my camera's having a fit. There you go. So how do I keep the line going? So what I do, I'm very disciplined in what it is that I do. So if I've got, let's say, a 1.5 hour set where I'm going to be demonstrating mediumship for up to an hour, it's actually 1 hour and 15 minutes. And each communication I will give 7 to 10 minutes. And in that process, I know that as I'm clock watching, which I don't need to do now, but it's just a habit that I have formed, that a clock in the building, I can monitor where I am. I know exactly how many communications I've done. That will work out for 1 hour and 15 to 1 hour and 30 minute demonstration. I know that the cue, as you call it, I call it that as well. I know that with it, so let me swap camera, my apologies. I know that the cue, is already formed. My spirit team, we work very closely together. I trust what they say, and I do what they ask me to do in the form of demonstrating. And so I know that with it, that they're on an evening of 1.5 hours, I know that there will be up to 7 communicators. I know this because I test it all the time. I can run a class on Saturday and be demonstrating a week later, and I can already be aware of the cue that is there. And that's another question maybe, but I know that this cue, I'm learning how I work as an instrument, and how I need to be shown things, or how I feel things, how I sense the communication, and in that process they will learn me as an instrument. And so that cue will never run out, because I do 6/7 communications in 1 hour or 1 hour and 15 minutes. So the cue is already formed. So I don't need to keep the cue going. I know it's already formed. And therefore that's the way that I've developed my mediumship, and that's how I know that it will never fail. It's just always there for me. So again, Kim, if you don't feel I've answered your question enough there, I will try again, and I will answer it in a different way. What you need to know is never be fearful that there's not going to be one there. If you're there to work for an hour, the spirit world will never let you down. So you haven't got to go and find the queue. You haven't got to go and find anybody. The spirit world will always introduce it for you. So if you are there for an hour, the spirit world know that you are there for an hour. And of course, they will keep that queue going. If your communications are lasting 4 minutes, then you're going to have a lot of people to go through. But the spirit world will constantly do that. That's why I strongly recommend that people bring in a discipline. It's one that I feel strongly about myself. It's one that the SNU feels strongly about, and one that Ursham Star School of Mediumship feels strongly about, is that no communication should just be like 2 minutes. If you've got 40 people, don't try and do all 40. Keep to this structured time, and the average structure is 7 to 10 minutes, which is a good time to get their evidence across, tie it off with some form of message or, you know, guidance maybe, and then move on to the next one. That way you're structuring how you hold the energy, how the queue is formed, and how many are usually in your queue. Hope that helps. Hope that helps. So I've literally just destroyed the workspace I have in front of me. So hopefully I've answered you there, Kim. Okay, so I do this all the time, don't I? So my apologies, Triangle. I'm gonna call you Triangle. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Triangle. When you talk about not leaving the recipient with lots of things they can't validate, are you referring to a 10-minute read at the time of demonstration? Or what naturally happens during a private 50 to 60-minute session? Okay, so when I say I don't like leaving the client with a bag full of information to go away with, you are correct. I am talking about a 10-minute public communication. And so I've got 10 minutes, and I don't want to sort of say, you would understand this, no, you'd understand this, no, go away and check it. It's just not my style. It's not who I am. Usually, if it happens to me, it'll be like, you would understand this, yes, you would understand this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and it's yes, 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 yes. And they want me to talk about the photo album. Don't know about the photo album. Well, then you understand that on the strength of everything that I've done, we've been here 7, 8, 9 minutes, and everything I have said has been very, very accurate. Then usually, you know, we can say, then have a look, but don't constantly do it. It's not right. In a private sit-in, which I bet you wish you had waited for me to answer that previous question, my private sit-ins will be 30 minutes. Maybe they'll tip over a little bit. They'll never be 60 minutes. It's just there's no value. What I can do in 30 minutes is enough. I don't need to be doing it for an hour there. I will try and clear it up in a private setting. If I've said something, I will try my utmost, and that may cause me to run over a little bit, trying to clear that up. I always try and work out in my own mind, why would the spirit world come in this moment, in this private sitting, and talk about everything that the client doesn't know. So if the client is saying that, I would have to say that I'm at fault. It's me that's made the mistake, because I just don't see the intelligence behind a communicator coming forward and speaking of everything that the client doesn't understand. So I would maybe take the hit there and say, it's me, I've misinterpreted it. So I would repackage it maybe. But each scenario is completely unique to each individual. So we're trying to give it a generic banner there on something that can be quite individual. So hope that answers your triangle. Good evening, my old friend Ray. So hope you're well, hope your family's well. Send my love to your beautiful children and your wife. And we will have to catch up soon. Frank in from Brazil, so can't believe you're still there, mate. You need to get home. Oh man, this thing just jumps all over the place. I'm so sorry. Okay, so there it is. Got it back. So good evening, good evening. Have I missed an email or have you not put together the online class? The online class is not ready yet. Don't panic. It's in motion. It's in motion. It's just not ready yet. Good. I'm trying to get fit for Swiss Week and looking forward to see you for the Trance Week. So good evening, Helen. No problem. Hi. Have you got any advice for a beginner to how to shift your awareness to the spirit world? How should I do that? And I'm still very much practicing. It's actually very, very simple, Paul. So I assume you're part of the channel and there would be lots and lots of videos talking about how to just shift the mind, the intent, etc., etc. So as an example to you, Paul, if you're watching, if you've got a moment and no one's looking, and you can all do this, it's not a problem. Your mind will go wherever you want it to go. You just have to allow it to go there. So whatever you do, whatever you lot do right now, all 30 of you, whatever you do right now, do not look or think of a red bouncy ball. Do not do it. And all of you did that, all of you, every single one, whether it be the sense of it or trying to avoid it, you would have glimpsed at it, you would have saw the red ball. And so, Paul, that is exactly all you have to do. You have to understand that your mind is so powerful, so powerful. So now think of someone that you love very dearly. I mean, alive and kicking, maybe sitting in the chair beside you or in another room. Just think of them, look at them. Look at them in your mind. What colour's their hair? What's the texture like? Think of something that reminds you of someone here, alive, right here, right now. And watch them. And your mind has already done it. It's already there. And so that's all you have to do. You have to say to yourself, I'm working for spirit right now. Right now, I'm going to move my intention to work for the spirit world. And as I move my mind to the spirit world, I'm aware of a father. And as father steps forward, I know that he passes very quickly. I know that with him, he's in his upper 60s. And I know that he takes a heart attack in the home just outside the kitchen. And here we go. The communication starts rolling because my mind has already moved there. Does that make sense, Paul? So don't make it difficult. Don't make it hard. It's so easy. It's so simple. Teachers, YouTube, other channels make it so it's just out of reach. You just can't grasp it. And it's the easiest thing I have ever done. So don't make it hard. Okay, so Stephen, I want to try out movie symbols, references instead of tarot cards on my pendulum for my readings. How do I get the spirit team to use my reference going forward? In the intent, all in the intent. So you've expressed it to me very easily there, very easily. What you've said is that that's what I want and this is how I want to move forward. Then do that same thing in the intent before you start that work. And it will happen very quickly, What will stop it from working? What will stop it from working is you thinking, is it working? I don't know if this is going to work. I think this might not work. This might fail. That will make it fail. Know that it's going to work. Know that they've already got that. They already know it. And now you're going to start working with it and embrace it and go with it. And immediately you'll notice a big difference in your work immediately. So give that a try. Give that a try. No problem. So hi to Newcastle. Okay, a message retracted there for some reason. So what did you write? Hope it's not swear words. Okay, so beginner's video. There you go, Paul. If you look under your question, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one under your question, Paul, there is a video there for you to look at. It's hard to switch to mediumship once you have been practicing as a psychic. Is it hard? If so, why? Is it hard? No. Can you make it hard? Absolutely. You can make it absolutely impossible if you choose to. But is the shift simple? Absolutely. So my mind goes to missed responsibility. And I'm not working, but as the example, I'm aware with you as I move into your energy that you're actually quite a difficult character. You're someone that's very outspoken. You like to speak your truth. You're strong-minded. You're an independent lady. You're someone that likes to believe that you make your own decisions. You are someone that likes to instruct and get things done rather than sitting on your hands and waiting for it to come to you. And as my mind goes to the spirit world, I'm aware of a lady very, very similar to you. Very, very similar. Actually, this would be a trait that runs through your family. So I move from the psychic, your energy, and go to the spirit world where I see an older lady that wants to step forward and work with you. This lady would be stubborn, I believe. That's what we would say. We would say that she's very stubborn. And in that process of my mind going from one to the other is just the thought. It's just the intent. I shift it to one place. So no, it's not hard, but it can be as hard as you want it to be. If you think you're going to have a problem, I can assure you that you will have one. Lynn says, I think a lot depends on the personality of the medium as it raises the vibration. Nothing worse when the energies are flat. And energies can be flat. I mean, I can be moody. I have bad days. I have off days. But what I do for myself there, Lynn, is that I allow myself to... I love my drawings. I'm just getting so good at it. So good at it. These drawings are just amazing, aren't they? Look. So what I allow myself here to do is that I allow myself to make mistakes with this dude. You know, I can wake up and I can have the ump. You know, I'm not really getting much done and I'm tired and I can't be bothered and everyone in the human race is irritating me right now. That's just the way that life is treating me right now. I'm very flat and very, you know, like not optimistic and everything's very negative. That's what that person does there. That's me in my everyday. However, my medium version of me, I create a perfection. I tell myself, dude, you are the man. You are going to nail this. You are going to get it right. And after so long, you start thinking that way. You start being positive. And just in that motion, just thinking about the spirit world there, I can already feel my energy lift. I can already feel it change. So I allow myself to get it wrong. I allow that. But I know that this one will get it right. This one will do that. So it's not on the medium or the personality, it's what you create. You create your reality with what goes on in here. So if things are going wrong or the energy's flat and you're not getting it right, change it. You're the only one in control of that. You're the only one that can do that. Find it, change it, move on. And it's very, very simple. That hasn't just got to be with mediumship. That's life. That's in general. Something you don't like, change it. Only you have that power. You're not happy, go be happy. You're not comfortable with something, make yourself comfortable with it. Ask yourself why, then change it. Then the change will be very, very evident in what it is that you're trying to do. That's not just mediumship, that's life. Triangle. Yes, it did answer my question, thank you, but then created another question or statement. Continued. Okay. I agree with what you are saying about the 30 minutes and the evidence, but there are others that come through as well, not just one person. Why only 30 minutes? Just curious. 30 minutes is more because everything that you can do in it. I'm going to be really blunt, really blunt. And so if I've had any clients on here, I don't mean to offend. I don't mean to upset people. It's one of those things, you know. So let me use me as the example. If I went to a very good medium, and this medium is known for their evidence, and they're known for being able to build up the character and allow that essence in the room of my loved ones. So let's take my sister, who is actually in the spirit world. And this medium's got a reputation for doing that. After 30 minutes, I will take, if that person can give me 4 hours, I'm taking it. I'm going to take 4 hours. They proved them in the first 10 minutes, and I'm more than comfortable to go, absolutely, she's definitely here, and of course she's talking about that, and I can feel her and I can sense her right now, and this is all because of the medium. Then I'm telling you that I am not giving that medium any opportunity to get me out of that room while you have my loved one there, and they will sit, I will sit for 4 hours. I will be there until they get rid of me, because I've got my sister back for that moment. And so 30 minutes, 10 minutes is enough for the evidence and to start getting it going, get that essence in the room. But 30 minutes is adequate for that time, for that message, for that message that life goes on. Beyond that is the recipient wants a psychic reading. The recipient wants answers to a life that they are leading. They want answers to something that they're struggling to find an answer to. And because of that, they have turned to someone that they look as stronger or is getting from the spirit world. The spirit world will never, ever, ever tell you what to do, ever. So any medium that says that, they're lying. They don't know their profession enough. And so the spirit world will go with whatever you decide. And if you make the wrong decision in your eyes, they will support you and nurture you through that. And so beyond 30 minutes is kind of pointless in the sense of proving life eternal. That is the purpose of the medium, proving life goes on beyond the physical. And so beyond 30 minutes is just the need of the individual. They're looking for answers, or they're being like anyone would be. They're gonna take those minutes and they're gonna hold it for as long as they possibly can, because the medium has brought the individual to life for that little bit longer. So 30 minutes is across the board a standard that you go for. You know, you wouldn't go to, let's say, I tell you what, I went to a spa when I was out in Egypt because my back was hurting and I wanted a massage. Never at any point did the masseuse turn around and go, do you know what? I'm just going to give you another 15 minutes because I feel like doing that for you today. I'm going to give you another 15 minutes. No, absolutely not. The hour was done. They're gone. They're out the room. Any other profession, think of anything else right now. Anything. You can fill the blank. And when your time is up, it's up. That's it. So I don't think any more than 30 minutes is required to prove life goes on. They may want it, but they don't need it. So hopefully that answers that triangle. No problem. No problem. Misresponsibility. How can you feel the difference between legitimate details from spirit versus our mind? Feeling things to have it make sense. Telling a story versus feeling the story. The client will say no. I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound like, oh, here we go, Mr. Know-it-all. Charlie thinks he's the best. Charlie thinks this. Charlie thinks that. It's really not the case. But through this development, I've learned that the moment I go, I'm working, spirit world, in you come, I feel it all around me, encase me. And then in that moment, I completely hand over. I hand everything over to them. What do you want me to do? You want me to talk about the boat? Okay, I'll talk about the boats. So I start talking about the boats, and the client will be absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. At no point have I got space in my mind to fill that gap, because I'm just going with what I'm being filtered with, you know. That's what they're flooding my consciousness with. That's what I talk about. The moment I get involved in the communication, my apologies, the moment I get involved in the communication is when the client has said no. So you would understand about an island, where you've understood the boat, and then I'm going to an island, and as I look at this island, the client goes, no idea what you're talking about. No island, no idea what you're talking about. Then that would have been my mind that had done that, or I've misinterpreted the information. Maybe I did see an island, but I need to talk about something else. So in that moment, I come straight back in. I'm like, whoa, the no ripples through me. So then I've got to look for clearing it up. So I don't really fill in or make the story. Because I'm going with what's in the mind, and I've handed the mind to the spirit world. So if it's there, I speak it, and if I speak it, then I know it's going to be right, because they are usually right. So it's kind of a hard one to do that. I just don't fill it in. I've had students that fill it in, but I've recognized it immediately. Why are you doing that? Why are you filling it in? Because I felt there was more to it. I promise you, if you keep it very, very simple, the depth of the communication gets stronger, because you're doing what you're asked by the spirit world. And when you listen and when you follow their guidance, the story just gets more and more in depth, rather than me trying to bulk out the story. So now I've learned that, and just go, do you know what? You know best. You know your story better than me. So I'll wait for you to tell me, then I'll go with it. So don't get me wrong, that didn't happen overnight. That took a while to get that way. But I've never felt the need to fill it in, because whenever I've seen it filled in, it goes wrong. And that version of me, I don't allow myself to be wrong. Because this one is the perfect, or whether it was that one, I don't know. But the perfection in my mediumship. So I'm constantly striving for it. I'm constantly trying to make it better, more accurate, if that makes sense. Charlotte Driscoll. Hi, Charlie. How do you know how the spirit passed? I find it hard to work it out. For some reason, I get no feeling and get stumped. Maybe you're just not ready to understand how they passed. And what I mean is that in the early stages for me, I would know it was a car accident. I'd maybe feel a bomb, and it would be like, oh my God, that felt awful, and I feel like I've died. I haven't seen anything, but I've just got the sense of a large bang, or the sound of cars hitting together. Maybe that was it. Over time, that got more and more detailed. The more comfortable I got with it, the more free my mind could accept it, the more information seems to come in. And now I can see people, without this being too graphic, my apologies if I offend, is that I can literally see them being cut out of a vehicle. I can see if their chest has opened up, or they've lost limbs within this accident, because I'm comfortable with it. I've seen it so many times now that my mind is accepting of it. I allow my mind to have it. So maybe you're not ready, or you don't like the idea of how people are going to pass, and that fear that you hold in your physical life or your everyday life is something that hasn't, it's not allowing. Therefore, the subconscious mind and the mediumship of that mind can't see or feel the passing, because maybe you're frightened, maybe you don't want to really see it. Now, I'm expecting when I get to the bottom of this list where you go, no, I'm absolutely fine, Charlie. I'm waiting for it. I'm trying to get it done. Then try implementing a new change. Try implementing something. I wanted exact passing conditions, exact. And so the only way I could do that was you're going to think I'm crazy now, but I went and got a duplicate copy of a blank death certificate. And in the mornings, I pinned this to my wall. Let me swap my camera so I can see what I'm doing. And the blank death certificate would be there. So as I woke up, I'd be sort of like that, and then as I woke up, I would see it immediately. So I gave my mind the template of a blank death certificate. Now, in column 4 of a death certificate is the cause of death. And in the early stages, I would get the spirit world to fill that in. Rather than let me see it or feel it or sense it, I just asked them to write it down for me. But gradually, I got bored with that. So gradually over time, my mind allowed me to sense it a little bit more, therefore giving me a different way of doing it. You also have to remember that sometimes the client doesn't need to hear how the person passed. You know, like if you was to work for me and you said, look, I've got your sister here, Charlie, and she makes me aware that she was 18 years old when she passes, and she wants me to talk about her personality, how crazy she was, and how she'd be the first one in, last one out. She loved a drink and she loved a sing-song. You don't need to tell me how she passed at that point. So, mate, you need to bring that into the equation also. Does the recipient need to hear it? You have to remember that you are just the voice. The communication is not for you. It's nothing to do with you. You are simply being the voice of the voiceless. So you are the phone in the conversation. You are just the instrument. So I wouldn't tinker about with it too much. Hopefully that helps. Picked up this terrible cough when I was in Egypt as well. Nightmare. My apologies. So, where are we at? We are there. So, missed responsibility. Am I making it up? Video's gone into the comment box there. You'll be able to, I'm sure you've seen it. I have never had spirit tell person what to do. Usually the suggestion is they go within and do whatever they do in a good frame of mind or good emotional state. Absolutely. The spirit world will never, ever, ever tell anyone what to do. Ever. So if a medium claims that, ask for your money back and get out the room. They will never tell you what to do. Ever. Okay, so triangle, it did answer the question. It's more of a reality check seen through different eyes, and it's great. I need someone to kick my butt. Not sure if you saw this or not, but have you put together an online class or did I miss it? I haven't done the online class yet, Triangle. So it's in process, so you will be notified. If you emailed me on my website, you will be notified when that goes, when that's going to go live. Cool. Sylvie, I am only shown pictures and symbols. How can I differentiate between those who are in the spirit world and those that are still alive? So Sylvie, you are one of those students that I would absolutely beat until you saw it a different way. So I'm really sorry. I'm going to have a drink. My throat is killing me and I hate the thought of you hearing me gurgle. So 2 seconds. So I'm back. Sylvie, you can feel it. You can hear it. You can taste it. You can smell it. If you keep telling me you can't, you will never be able to do it, ever. No matter what I do, no matter how many classes I put you through, you will never grasp it. So you have to allow yourself that, why would I be allowed it, but you're not? And so what you have to understand in that mind is that the potential is there for you to have it. If you keep telling me you can't get names, you will never get names, because your conscious mind will override the subconscious mind. The conscious mind will always come into play in your communication, and therefore you're not having the most efficient sort of communication that you can have. Allow yourself to, maybe I can get a name. Maybe today's the day that I'm going to get a name. And with that allowance of your mind, you will get more. You will definitely get more. I promise you, within 2 or 3 hours, I will get you doing more. So if you're only shown pictures and symbols, then ask them, no pictures, no symbols. You know what? Today, I don't want pictures and symbols. Give me sensitivity and emotion. And then when you feel it, ask for the picture that goes alongside it. Therefore, you are strengthening the communication from every aspect. If you're really brave, then ask to taste it or smell it or whatever. But know that you are doing that. That is something that is a restriction that you are putting around your mediumship, when you can in fact do absolutely anything. Your spirit team are amazing. They are limitless. They are not limited by the sensory realm that we are. Therefore, you can have it. You've just got to find it within that mind of yours. Misresponsibility. Is there momentum to having a read? Do things start slow, then build up in terms of connection to spirit, or is it like immediate with no momentum or turning indeed? If I'm completely honest, misresponsibility, it's down to the client. You know, if I've got a good relationship and we're laughing and, you know, and maybe they don't need convincing, they just want to hear from dad, then that seems to just go boom, straight into gear, and away we go. And it will fly out the gate really, really quickly. However, if you've got someone sitting in front of you going, prove it. Mate, I've heard you're good. You're going to have to prove it to me. Go on then, show me what you can do. That is going to be gloopy. That is going to be like treading in wet tar, trying to get through like the thickest syrup that you've ever seen, because my relationship is not good with the client. Proving the spirit, I don't need to prove the spirit world. I know it's there. I know it's there. So it's like, who am I proving it to, myself or them? Now they can either come open-minded and go, do you know what, let's see what this is about. And if he produces evidence, then we'll go with it. And I go, right, I'm aware that I've got your mum here and she passes at 84 years old and she passes at home in her bed of natural causes. You were by her side with your brother. That's evidence. That's evidence. And they'll go, bloody hell, here we go. My God, there's something in this. Here we go. If they're just downright skeptical, it's not going to work. You might as well call it off, which will always revert back to this 3 points of contact. The spirit world, me, the instrument. That connection is unbreakable. Can't break it. That's it. It's solid. I know it's there. They know I'm there. I'm going to do my job. Now, they also know that their loved one's there. They know it's there. They're trying to impress that within the room. They're trying to get in. They're trying to let them know, I'm trying to talk to you. But they have to use this point. So that's where this connection comes in. And if that breaks down in any sense, then the whole communication will fail. So some will start off slow, some will be fast. Dependent on how we build that relationship with clients. Hope that works, misresponsibility. Rosie, for me, the only time I've ever genuinely 100% known I have connected to the spirit world is at your workshop. Well, I mean, obvious. I know I can do it, but for whatever reason, it doesn't happen instantly. Like, I assume that's continued somewhere. like. Okay. No, it's not there. I can't see it. Oh yeah, got it. Like it did when I was in the workshop and I am getting the ump and almost giving up on developing. How can I get it like I did in the workshop without you guys being there? Unfortunately, Rosie, the workshops are a very, very good place for development. You have a, this is going to sound terrible, but it's like a manufactured environment. And so you've got my power. Without that sounding arrogant again, you've got my power. You've got, I don't know, 15 other people in the workshop. So you've got 15 like instruments that are just beaming lights. They're just beaming it up. All those raised vibrations, we'll say. All of that going up. So what you're feeling in the room is like we're here, but then we all switch on and we're bang, bang, it hits the ceiling. However, at home, you know, you've got little ones running around. You've got, you know, I think you do a lot for your husband. You're like the housewife and you're running a home and you don't have the environment of a workshop. So therefore, your state of awareness is not what it is in a workshop. You've got no distraction. You've got nothing that's going to involve. No one can come and go in that room without my say-so. Therefore, the room is kind of manufactured to an area where the energy is high and I can instruct you. At home, the dog might be running around or a cat or your kids. Or they're screaming or fighting. Your husband can't find his socks, so he's shouting out, Rosie, where's my socks? So the environment that you're trying to develop in is not suited for the development of your awareness. So that is why you do workshops. You allow yourself that time. Gradually over time, you know the markers and you know what it feels like. Then you can take it home and you can do it in the most noisiest conditions because you've learned how to switch your mind. So you're too early on. So I recommend more workshops. Obviously, I would like them to be with me. However, it's not exclusive to me. You can use other good tutors that you feel comfortable with when developing your mediumship. Stephen did a reading for a sitter and got a warm sensation underarm for health question. I said go to the doctor and it left after I said it. Wasn't sure if I was meant for her loved one or my physical side. Okay, so I did a reading for a sitter and got a warm sensation underarm for a health question. So they asked you about health in some aspects, which the way that I'm reading it, you have dealt with in the right way. Go to a doctor. You're not a doctor. You can't diagnose. You can't do. And the spirit world wouldn't tell you anyway. They wouldn't go, no, mate, unfortunately, you've got a little bit of a problem. You're not going to survive. I'm really, really sorry. Spirit world would never, ever do it. So you are right in what you're doing. Go to a doctor. If I get any health, me as the individual, if I get any health issues during a communication, the spirit world know that I will not talk to my client about their health. The spirit world know that. So if I get anything in my being that is health related, then I know it's to do with the communicator. Therefore, I will talk about it. Other than that, the spirit world won't give me it because they know I won't talk about it. Therefore, that's the relationship I've built with my team. So it just wouldn't, I know that it wouldn't be for the client. But that's my relationship. I don't know how you have been taught or how you have developed your relationship with the spirit world. So I hope that makes sense there, Stephen. Love to have you back. I love being back. So, and thank you for joining the session tonight. Blue Feather. Rosie, oh no, I've already done that one. I feel British mediums are trained much more to bring the evidence forward. Here in the US, my experience has been it's kind of lacking on evidence and heavy on the message. Any advice for budding mediums in the ISA who would like to train in a way that is strong on evidence? The way that you develop, I totally agree with you. I really don't mean to offend anyone in the US. I really, really don't. But I actually think it's it's a form of very lazy mediumship. Because it can be hard work. It's very difficult all the time getting facts and figures and this, that, and the other. You know, it's draining, and it's been a lot of training, ongoing training. That training doesn't stop for me. I'm constantly looking at my mediumship and constantly trying to improve it. So I absolutely agree with you there, Blue Feather. However, the UK is not much stronger, so it's taken me about, I don't know, nearly 3 years now to break the acceptable level of mediumship from a platform here in the UK, because I just go, for the first year it was just facts and figures, till people recognise my style of mediumship. And then from that style, I could bring a bit more of the personality and the character through, backed up with facts and figures, and then signing off with a message. Too many people are doing psychic work, the message, on a platform and claiming it to be the spirit world. So it depends how much you want to be sort of, in your community. It's how you want to be viewed in your community. I now have a reputation where, you know, there are some mediums out there that they're weak. It's weak on evidence. There's very little evidence there. I will talk about it. I will bring it up. I will say it. That's deemed unspiritual. Charlie, you're out of order. You shouldn't do that. I think differently. I think I should do that because the standard is very small or shallow, and I want a better standard of mediumship. I've worked way too hard to get to this level, and for it to be undermined by 30 seconds of evidence, then a psychic message. So I'm entitled to that opinion as much as they're entitled to their opinion that I shouldn't do that kind of thing. So it's how you want to stand out in your community. If you want to be known for evidence, then go for evidence. And even if they don't like you, and even if everyone's against you, and everyone's waiting for you to fall and make a mistake, and they're talking about you and they're making stories up about you, just keep going. And through that, keep going and keep motoring on through it. Eventually, it goes away. And eventually you will get the respect that you are owed for the level of evidence that you are bringing through, that there is something else beyond the physical life. And only then will you start to see the respect from other people. So you're going to have to work your way through it, unfortunately. I must warn you that is a difficult journey, one that I nearly turned my back on it hundreds of times. They nearly broke me. They nearly got to me. They nearly wore me out. But there was that little flame inside that never, ever got extinguished. And I just kept on and on and on. And now I feel that I'm coming out of the other end. I still hear stories about me, and I've still got idiots running their mouths that will do it, but they're not the idiots that are standing on a platform and showing me otherwise. So it's one of those, unfortunately. So if you are going to go down the evidence route and you want to see more evidence on your platform, then go get yourself a good bulletproof vest, stab-proof vest, bomb shield, heels in, dig in for the long ride, because it's gonna take a while. So good luck. Good luck. I've gone grey. I've gone grey because of it, losing my hair and going grey. But I'm still going. Miss Responsibility. The further along in my development, I am starting to get a sense that spirit is excited to be there. Like it is fun for them and they like to help me. It's nice. Do others experience the same? I would agree with you. So I experience that to a point, to a level. But feel free, everyone else, if you want to answer Miss Responsibility in the comments there. That would be nice to get some feedback, wouldn't it, there, Miss Responsibility? So let's see if they answer you. Thanks, Charlie. Looking forward to the workshop at the end of the month. Oh, you're coming along. Cool. Cool. Oh, you're Charlotte. Is that Charlotte? Ah, hi, Charlotte. Cool. Cool. I'm useless with names, so my apologies. Oh, where on earth did... What happened there? What happened there? That jumps massively. Right there, found it again. I get initials, sometimes smells and tastes. Then go for more. If you can get initials, and I'm not, who is that? Sylvia. Sylvia, I'm not picking on you. I'm not picking on you. But let's say, try and understand the spirit world in this way. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can show you a different way via a webcam. So if the spirit world come through and they go, I'm aware, let's say I'm a spirit person and I'm talking through the realms, which is the webcam right now, and you're my medium, and I go to you, right, you know, tell them the letter C, tell them the letter C, tell my loved one the letter C. Then all you have to do is get them to do the next one. Right, I got C. What's the next one? And the next one, and the next one, and the next one, until you have my name, Charlie. I'm aware of the name Charlie. If you can get one letter, you can get every letter. You accept an initial. Don't accept it. Ask for more. I want more. You guys are intelligent. You guys are meant to be limitless. You guys are so clever, but beyond any human comprehension. Then I know you can do more than one letter. Keep it coming, keep it coming. And through that process, before the month is out, I promise you, you'll have a name. Give it a go. Let me know how you get on with that as well. Let me know. Dr. Aaron, sorry. Dr. Cube. Let's go with that. If you get more than one father energy, example, if in your energy field, you may recognize this, but what is your advice to have only one step forward at a time to make it less confusing? All my students right now are screaming at the laptop, Dr. Cube. So, I must warn you that this artwork's just getting devastatingly good. Devastatingly good. So, how good is that? That's amazing, ain't it? Maybe I do the wrong niche. I might start an art channel. So, this is me. That's me. No jokes, but that's me, and that's my aura. All around there's my aura. When the spirit world wants a blend as a visual for you to understand, let's say they join me in my aura with their aura. Do you see that? They join me. Yeah? See this here? See this aura? That's mine. It's my responsibility. Principle number 5 of the spiritual principles, personal responsibility. And that is my aura. That's mine. Belongs to me. That person can only come in here if I allow them to. So as you enter, in you come, and I'm aware of a father figure. Actually, I'm aware of 2 father figures. Hold on. So 2 have entered my awareness, my auric field. The easiest way to deal with that, to stop it being confusing, is look We're messing this up, you lot. So one of you need to get out. One of you need to get out. And if not, you're both getting out. So it's up to you. One of you or none of you. Entirely up to you. Because what we're doing right now is really confusing, and I'm looking terrible at being a medium for the spirit world. So one of you has to get out, and one of them will leave. It's that simple, that easy. That auric field is yours. Nothing can get in, nothing can harm, nothing can be there without you allowing it to be there. So I'm aware of two of you, one of you get out. Job done. Job done. That easy. What would you say is a good way to handle a recipient who tells you that they know their loved one is happy, at peace, and with family? They just need them to answer a specific question. That is a really difficult scenario to find yourself in there, triangle. Then, for me, the way I would deal with that is that I would connect to the spirit world. So my recipient would be in front of me. I would connect to the spirit world, and I would say to them, don't give me the question. I don't want the answer. I'm going to ask them to give me the question. If they then gave me the question, I can then give the answer. If I wouldn't go, what's your question? Should I sell the house that we all grew up in because I really need the money? I just can't trust enough to go with, yeah, sell it. Yeah, go for it. Sell it. He's telling me to tell you to sell it and go and live a life happily ever after. I just wouldn't entertain the idea unless they gave me the question. So he makes me aware that you want to know that whether you should sell the house because you're actually in financial difficulty right now, and you're wondering whether you should sell the house because it would solve that financial problem. Then I think that would explain everything without even having to answer the question. Miss Responsibility, I look forward to being part of your online classes and mentoring. Can't wait for first day of class. Don't mind me, just setting the intention and invoking the law of attraction. That is very clever, Mrs. Responsibility. Miss Responsibility. Very, very clever. No, I will stick to your workshop, thanks. We'll speak to you, Carol, on Facebook. I'm with you on that one. Cool. 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 Oh, dear. Oh, God, you're going to land me in trouble. Who is that? Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm going to need one moment just to work this out, all right? 2 seconds. I'm just going to leave that as a statement that you don't understand what I assume that Paul Jacobs is a medium, and because there could be millions of Paul Jacobs, couldn't there? Millions. I don't know. So, but you heard a chap called Paul Jacobs say that sometimes he is not sure what is psychic and what is coming from the spirit, which really confused me. That would really confuse me too, and I would definitely raise that as a question. Simply because oh, it's going to land me in trouble. It's going to land me in trouble. I don't need more trouble. I don't need more trouble. Simply because the mechanic is very, 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 very simple. Mediumship, I move my intent to the spirit world. Up it goes and I go to the spirit world. Psychic, I have to, with intent, go into your energy. I don't know how you can mistake these two. They are very, very different. Very different. So maybe you misheard it. Maybe. I don't know. Do you know where you saw the interview? Would maybe be a start. I could watch the interview myself. Maybe you could add a link for everyone to watch that interview if you wanted to. But that would be entirely your choice if you could locate that and put it down there. Maybe you misheard. Maybe. I also noticed that anyone in the US can claim themselves as a medium, set up a website or a Facebook page and bring forth general yeah. That is why Charlie's online class is so needed in the US. I will definitely do the class, so you've got no worries there. Don't worry about it. Unfortunately, across the globe, I think it's a place where anyone can set up a Facebook page or a website and call themselves international medium, intergalactic medium. I'm waiting for someone to talk about different universes and stuff like that. What makes you international? Your ego. Your ego makes you international. Spirit is spirit. No boundaries. But hey, if I'm going to get in trouble, I might as well really stir it up. Bugsy, what a cool name. Can't see your little picture there though. Can't see that just yet, but what a cool name. You had my father. Oh God, I've worked for you. You had my father when platforming and some information I didn't know. Turns out you're 100% right. When I spoke to my mum that night and found out it was about my dad before I was born, I'm living proof the recipient having a bad memory can be awful for a medium. How very, very honest of you, Bugsy, to not only come on and find my YouTube channel, but to offer up something like that. So thank you. Thank you. And thanks for your honesty. Can't you get how spirit looks and the relationship to the sitter for the sitter psychically? You can. You absolutely can. Absolutely. So if I'm sitting here and I flood my mind with the image that I remember of my sister, absolutely. Absolutely. So description can only go so far. Personality, evidence, facts and figures, you just can't do that. So you know, oh, you are but something jumped there. Right, okay. Can you get, yeah, so you can do spirit guide portraits as a side hustle. Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, like, just look at just how they're amazing, aren't they? They are amazing. I might even frame it and put it on my little wall here. Just enough of the jokes. Enough of the jokes. So, thank you for your answering my absolute. You're the reason I'm on. Your questions are the reason I'm on. So please stop thanking me. I want to help. I want better mediumship. So I love it when Charlie says he's gonna get. I really am. I really am. Don't answer. Maybe I should have read that before I answered. Just curious. Brilliant. Paul Jacobs worked under Gordon Higginson as a student many, many years ago. So it is the Paul Jacobs that I do know of then. I would have to see the interview to give my opinion. To give my opinion, I would have to see that interview. I'm just a little shocked. If he said he's confused by where he gets the information from the spirit world or psychically, I'm just confused. Lee Kinsley, I feel I'm failing in circle because I expect too much from spirit or myself. How subtle is contact, or should it be obvious? You have a message. Lee, it's very, very subtle. Your entire development, that's wrong. Let me reword that slightly better. For the best part of the early years in your development, everything's about, here we go with another drawing. I warn you, it's going to be good. It's a good one, this one. You have been warned. Let me swap camera. Boom. Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? That's a person, by the way. You are trying to raise awareness. So you throw all the feelers out. It's like a I don't know, like a mini explosion that goes on inside you. You know, boom. And you send it out as far as you can. And all your efforts go on this. You know, you're trying to find awareness. You're sending it out everywhere. Boom. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to highlight something that's very, very subtle. Very subtle. I mean, so subtle. And what happens is, like, it almost comes across like this. Again, I apologize in advance for the drawing. Almost comes across like that. And what we're trying to do in mediumship is we're trying to slow it down, and we're trying to read the information that is within. So from that, and mediumship slows it down to like that, where the information is kept. And so as we're trying to get that information, we're learning to slow it down and take it in, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then when you're finally comfortable, when you have faith, when you trust, when you actually believe in your spirit team, and you know no matter what happens that they're there. And of course they're giving you the information, and of course they're going to speak to the loved one that's in front of them. Only at that point does that subtlety get more and more subtle again, because we're using our energy more efficiently. We're using it, and so to keep it highlighted all the time, we're burning fuel. And I don't want to be burning fuel knowing that I've got the communication there, so I make it more subtle again, giving me more fuel, more attention, more thought to the things that actually are going to come through in the communication in my mind, allowing me to express it. Hope that makes sense. Cool. Oh man, this is getting on my nerves. There must be a different way of doing this. Why are mediums natural? Why are they natural? Why are they natural? I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm not sure I understand. So they're natural because it's your birthright. You know, they're not chosen. You're a sentient being. You know, everything about you is about awareness, consciousness, subconsciousness, energy. This is just a vehicle. This is just something to sort of travel around in. This is just something to express through the 5 apertures of this sensory realm. The rest is spirit. So it's very natural just to be involved in that and be aware of that. And so in that process, if you can lose what I'm ramming down in your face through media and through education and through socialism and through materialism, if I can stop you being absorbed with the nonsense that goes on around you, and I get you to sort of focus on you very naturally, then you just naturally become a medium. You can feel it, you can sense it, you don't need so many things. So not really sure I get your question, but the answer is because you are spirit having a physical experience. Are you switched off when you are doing lives on here, or can you feel spirit trying to push through from people watching you? It's not that they try and push through. They don't try to push through. It's more of a discipline. I won't allow a communication to happen when I am teaching you, when I am expressing, when I'm trying to get you to understand mechanics of the spirit world. So they won't try and push in. They're just watching. They're just looking in. They're just being part of it. They're there because you're there. So because you're there, I'm aware of it. Are they trying to communicate? No. Oh, God. A lot of times I have heard mediums chuck out a statement and say, is it for someone else, and take it away because that person needs the message. Would the spirit world do this? Wouldn't they be doing that all the time on one-to-ones too, because someone else needs the message more than them? Or is it the fault of the medium? It's absolutely the fault of the medium. Absolutely. There is no such thing as random. There's no random communicator. No random communicator will walk in. The medium will say, oh, well, it must be someone that's lost. It must be someone that was just walking down the street. It must be someone that was here last week and they needed to get a message out. It's not, the spirit world is intelligent. They're very, very intelligent, and they're just not going to do that. What's actually happened is the medium has said it wrong, but their ego won't allow them to say, I got that wrong, let me start again, and then do it again and then clear up their mess. They would rather go, well, it must have been for someone that was here last week, a passerby, or trying to think of another scenario. But because I know what you mean. I know, I've seen it, and it is terrible. But it's never random, ever. It's never random. Just put your hands up. You messed up. Sorry, I messed up. I think, can't be sure, Rosie, but I think I've got a video on that. Hi, Phil. Cool, nice to see you on. Hi, Charlie, good to see you are working well. Love the drawings. I feel you're slightly taking the piss. Anyway, hope you're well. Happy New Year. Say hi to Jay for me. I'm so glad I'm able to catch a bit of this. I'm glad you are too. Well done. I missed quite a bit. I wasn't able to catch any of the other lives. Yeah. Yay me. Jumps. This video, loved the interview, have much respect for him, but he admitted at 7 minutes 40. Cool. Okay. Cool. Thanks. I'll watch it later. I will watch it later. What is the logic behind mediums starting in circle when no one can take any evidence that maybe it is for someone else, or they need to fish for a taker on social media to take the evidence? I think I've just answered that with Rosie's one there, Miss Responsibility. There are no randoms, ever. Ego is at play. You got it wrong, start again, no problem. No one's bothered. I'm in the US too, and I'm looking forward to the US class. Okay, cool. I really was grateful for the honesty, PJ, as it showed me he's human, but I was thrown by it. If I'm completely honest with you, Triangle, I'm completely thrown by it myself. Something I never thought I'd hear him say. So I'll give it a watch. Do we need to protect our energy from the audience? how to build enough power and remain on it for hours. Only because I don't like the word, I think. So do I need to protect myself from the audience as energy? Absolutely not. I don't believe that you do. What I do think you need to do is to build up let me change camera. You need to build up a tolerance where you can go for 2 hours. I've started doing a lot of much bigger sets, you know, like private events, theatres, that kind of thing, where it's an hour and a half, then a break, then an hour and a half, or an hour, then a break, then an hour. So I need to be able to finish the dem as strongly as I start the dem. So with that, I need to sort of keep building it and building it and building it. And that happens with development and over time. Do I need to protect myself? I would say no, but in the process of building or learning to build that kind of power to last for that length of communication, I just don't think you get involved with it. You know, like it's just the last thing on your mind. You just really don't need it. You don't need to be thinking about it. It's a process that just doesn't come to mind. Oh yeah, that's what I called it. So for the random communicator, I called it walk-ins WTF. Newbie question. Lee, you do not have to say that you're newbie. We're all newbies. We will all be newbies till the day that we die. We will never get it properly. So don't apologize, okay? Really don't apologize. Your newbie question or any question, advanced or absolute beginner, will hold value every step of the way. Someone will take something from it. So please never apologize. But how do you raise your energy in the first place to connect? You don't have to raise your energy to connect. You don't have to. It's in the process of working your mind. The moment you move your mind, the moment you move your mind to work with the spirit world, the raising of vibration has already taken effect. It's already happened. What happens is that who said that? So Lee. What happens is that you'll go to circle. In that circle, you'll learn about energy. While you're learning about energy, you will learn to meditate. While you learn to meditate, you'll learn about sitting in the power. Then after that, you'll be aware of maybe colours. And then after the colours, you'll invite the spirit world. And then as the spirit world moves forward, you get excited by it. Oh my God, this is so amazing. This is amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then through that process, you're just so excited that you can't leave it alone. You just can't, every minute of every day, you're just like, well, spirit world, spirit world, spirit world. I'm looking. But then what happens is it becomes normal. And I don't mean like take that magic away from it. I mean that my mind goes there. I've learned, I've developed, and my mind moves to the spirit world, and it's that amazing feeling, and we can help people today. We can ease the grieving. We can show people that life does go on. That in itself, the moment my mind moves there, I just feel my energy shift. And that's because I do it all of the time. Like when you first learn to drive a car, you know, you get in and 15 mile an hour beside the driving instructor feels like you're Colin McRae going around a rally track, didn't it? You're like, oh my God, my heart's racing, bum, 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 bum. And you're like that. And then sort of 10 lessons in, you're kind of like, I've got the gist of this. Can I go for my test? And then it's all exciting again, and you've just passed and you've got your license, and now you've got like your little 1.4 litre, whatever it is, and you're driving around, and then before you know it, 15 years later, you're driving a 3 litre twin turbo high performance sports car, and it feels exactly the same as day one when you drive. You just don't think, you just do it. You just get on and do it. And so just do it. You know, it's once you're there, Once you've found the spirit world, you know what that feels like. Do you need to keep crossing a rainbow bridge and lighting candles and protections of light and cloaks and boxes and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely not. Go there. They love you. They can't wait to speak with you, can't wait to work with you, and better still, you can help other people and you can show them this other place. How amazing is that? That in itself would be vibration raised. So I wouldn't waste energy, time, effort on trying to do it. It happens. And there's also a video directly under your question where I've done that. Getting a bit of a backlog of videos now, ain't I? So, is there such a thing as too much detail, especially when a sitter doesn't take the evidence? Is it burning power? Is it imagination? Too much evidence can do it. It can be wrong. So my apologies. I've just got to take a sip of water. It can be. It can come across as very lifeless because it's just facts and figures, facts and figures, facts and figures. So absolutely too much evidence can do that to you. So you need to be mindful to sort of mix it up a little bit. Can it be imagination? Too much detail? Absolutely. You can be... I done a video recently, Miss Responsibility, where I was talking about where the spirit world come and give you an apple, and then from that apple you change it into like an orchard in southern France, and you're making like drinks and all sorts out of it, when actually the spirit world just gave you an apple. Imagination can take over. I did a video called Imagination, so I'm sure you've watched it. It would appear some of you liked the intergalactic title that I'm now giving myself. I'm intergalactic with my work. Imagination. She's already done it. Okay, Blue Feather. How can we get more practice connecting with spirit and sitters if your circle is kind of undisciplined and not that much of the time is dedicated to mediumship? What you do is you set aside a time and you let the spirit world teach you. So for me, it was on a Monday evening at 7 p.m. And I would always be there. So every Monday at 7 p.m. I would sit there and the spirit world would bring me my lesson. That may be colours, that may be passing conditions, that may be absolutely nothing. I just had to sit in silence. And other times it'll be people just walking into the room and me having to get some sort of communication going with them. That was something that I did every Monday religiously at 7 o'clock. That would maybe last till 10 o'clock. And then I used a circle like your circle just to go and have a little bit of a practice with real physical people, if that makes sense. Why are mediums able to receive messages? Some are, some aren't. If you are someone that is absolutely hopeless with names, like me, then my mediumship will be hopeless with names. So I used to be brilliant with it, but I realised that too many people rely on a name. And I found that my mediumship got very lazy when I just gave them the name. So I eliminated names and I stopped using names altogether. And because of that, that made me work harder for evidence. And because I got more evidence, I felt like I was doing the job of a medium in much more detail. However, some of my sitters disagree. They still want a name and they still want you just to give them the name. But I always liken it to this. Coca-Cola. Actually, I've emptied the contents of the Coca-Cola out and I filled it with Ribena. And you will never know unless you taste it. So it may have the label of Coca-Cola, but actually inside is Ribena. And you will not know any difference. So you either take the word of it being Coca-Cola, or I pour it out and you see that it's Ribena. So I now pour out. I pour it out and I prove the communicator rather than just giving them a stupid label. If that makes sense. Sadly, my teacher doesn't talk energy or sitting in the power, and this is a top college in London. He only opens chakras to meditate. I mean, I know. Do you know? I swear to God, you lot love seeing me in bother, or love seeing me in trouble. So the top college in London wouldn't happen to be the Psychic Studies College in London, would it? And you know, I don't believe any teacher is absolutely brilliant at that place. I've been to watch a few of them and I've been very disappointed in their lack of discipline and their understanding of the spirit world. And you don't open chakras to meditate, you don't do that. So I would maybe challenge my teacher about opening chakras and closing them. I would like to see him close them, because the moment you close them, you would die. So I would like a demonstration of that. I would like to see that. Which then shows me a lack of understanding or a lack of knowledge in the spirit world. And so, you know, it's one of those, ain't it? It's because it's a famous place, it doesn't mean it's got quality teaching there. And they want ridiculous references to get in there. They want ridiculous written stuff to sort of allow you to go there. I have tried and I gave up after weeks of toing and froing with the organizer. So it's when the face fits, I'm afraid. And so that teacher in question will be a friend of someone within that place. And that is how they have their job, not because they are good at their job. Did I study at the Arthur Findlay College? I did 2 full weeks at the Arthur Findlay College, and I did a weekend with Eileen Davis on a physical phenomena weekend. I enjoyed the Eileen Davis one. My week, I did 2 weeks there. I did one with Tony Stockwell, and I did one with Tim Abbott. Tim Abbott's one sent me on the path that I'm on now. I'm eternally grateful for the work that he did at the Arthur Findlay College with me there, and with his guidance. The Tony Stockwell one, I may have well have just burnt the money. It was very expensive and I didn't really get much from it, to be honest with you. But so I never went back. I never went back to the college after that. I found Tim at another school, and I used that school for my teaching, where I now am a tutor myself there at that school. So, yeah, so I briefly attended there, briefly. I'm sure you have already watched it. Okay, haha, yes I have. Need to watch it again. Cool. When I'm in circle, I don't use any method like sir or anything. Who's that? Sir or anything like that. I just sit with the intention of surrendering and take whatever comes through. Every message has been so different because of this. Every message has been so different in this. Is this effective, or should I use more structure and ask more questions? Absolutely not. Do it the way that you're doing it. Sir is a very old-fashioned way of working. It was a way of showing the student how to get a repertoire going with the spirit world, and because of that we then become to reliant on it. And now we see the downfall to CERT, because every single medium that you are watching are doing it the same way, and it lacks a depth, and it has no feel to it. It just lacks it. A few of you will be asking what CERT is, so I've let me swap camera. I've wrote it down there for you. So it is communicator, CERT, CERT, communicator, evidence, reason for coming, tie it up, which is CERT. So absolutely not. Blue Feather, you keep doing it the way that you're doing it. What I would always do, just to challenge yourself with it, is try to, for me, anyway, for me, you can try this, but their evidence, the communicator's evidence will always be very relevant to the sitter and their current state of affairs in their world here and now. And so they talk about their evidence because they're here for upliftment, guidance, or knowledge or understanding for their current scenario. And so what happens is that as we remind the sitter of the communicator's life and their experience and how they handled it, it may help the recipient in this scenario to go through their business the way that they're going to now go on and handle it. And it's kind of like an underlying intelligence between the communicator and the recipient without the medium knowing it, if that makes sense. Give it a try. I'm a developing medium and I just started exploring tarot cards. The other night when I was in development circles, some of the pictures of the tarot cards come through and was manipulated. I'm guessing Spirit is using that as part of a reference library. When I brought up the imagery and explained how I saw the picture and the card's person connected and it resonated. It seems that the card imagery pertain helping them along. It could well be. It could well be. So I'm not a big fan of tools. I've done a video. See if she's done it. No. Tools in mediumship. It's a very early video, one from the very beginning. So it won't be very good, but the content is what I'm saying is very good. And it's they're instruments. So you know that you don't need the card. If you're comfortable and you're confident with the card, then by all means do that. However, you don't need the card. The spirit world would absolutely, if you're connecting to the spirit world while using the cards, of course, the imagery can change within the clairvoyant part of your mind because that's what they want you to talk about. So that makes sense to me. However, know that you're creating a restriction. You're putting in something that doesn't need to be there, and the spirit world are trying to use it for you to understand that you don't actually need it, if that makes sense. Made sense to me, but I need it to make sense to you. So it will definitely be helping your reference. It definitely will. I just feel that you're maybe adding a ritual that you don't need to be there. But if you're comfortable and that's how you like to do it, then by all means, ignore what I'm saying, by all means, and that will just develop over time. That will get better and better for you. Cool, that's good. That's a good thing. Charlie, don't you think some people need structure? Have you ever seen a medium just throw out visuals and objects and scenes without establishing communication? No one has an idea of who it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't just say, right, I'm aware of a field, and in this field I see a cow, and this cow's just walking up and down and mooing. I don't really get it. It's just mooing at me. That makes no sense. You're absolutely right. So you always have to tell the audience or the recipient who the communicator is. So I'm aware of a gentleman here, and I know this gentleman is like 6.5 feet tall, and he's around the age of 70, and he makes me aware that he owned a farm. I'm in the north of the country, so as I work with him, I know that I need to go north, and he shows me this field where he's got livestock. He's showing me a cow right now, but I know that there's other animals there. So you absolutely need structure in that sense, absolutely. Always the communicator first, always, because no one has a clue what's going on. Then the imagery or the other bits of information that come in will then add value to the story. Without the communicator, there is no value. It's just imagery. So you're absolutely right there, Miss Responsibility. Absolutely. So I would always go with the communicator first. That is an absolute must for me. And then after that, their story can unfold. I tend to do it in a way where it's like the communicator. Let's swap camera. The communicator steps in. There's my lovely drawing. My communicator steps in, and then as I describe the communicator with their facts and their figures and their evidence, I then let their story unfold in a way that the recipient understands. So you're doing well, you lot. You're still here. I can't believe you're all still here. Well done. Well done. And now my system has literally just crashed. So are you still receiving the feed? Right, I don't. Cool, you don't depend on them. That's good. Carol's making tea. Formats in mediumship. There you go. Mine's with 2 sugars. Okay, this is awesome. Very interesting with the names. Would you not just not give them any more? Did you tell them, no, I want to give it if you've got it? No, if the name's there, for me, I like to, if I've got the name, this is going to sound a little bit wrong. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So is that still transmitting? You have to quickly reload that. I don't know if you can. Is that still going? I don't know if this is going to come across funny. So what I'll do is I'll number it. Let's say I've got five decent statements. Let's say I've got that. Cool. Let's say I've got 5 decent statements. And number one was the name. Number 1 was the name. The second one is your father, and he died at 74, and he actually passed in a lay-by in his car going to visit his sister in Great Yarmouth. And then the third one would be like the date. So he draws me to August, and I know that I need to be towards the end of the month, like 24th of August. I don't know what one I'm up to now. So, and then the 5th one was like, and he always took her flowers. He always took her flowers. His name was Albert. So I've got Albert. And what happens is I hold that name back. I just hold it back. So I give all the other stuff there because it's the Coke scenario, isn't it? It looks like Coke because of the label that I'm giving you, but the contents is Ribena. So I give the contents first, and then when I'm in a position where I go, he's gone to Yarmouth, it's August the 24th, and he's pulled over in a lay-by and taken a heart attack. He makes me aware his name's Albert. I've now done the evidence first and then hit him with the name. It's just got more of an impact. It's just, for me, it's just better. I don't know. Just for me, it's better. Maybe I'm wrong. So if I get it, I place it in somewhere. maybe signing off. Signing off's a good thing, you know. And your father this, and your father that, and your father this, and your father that. And just as your father's about to leave us now, he asked me to remind you of his name, and it's Albert. It just does it for me. Would love for you to write a book. Would be very helpful. What would you like the book on, Lee? Mechanics, instruction, or backstory? I've already started the book, so I'm just curious to what you want to read. Oh, Amanda, you decided to finally turn up. You're welcome. Mechanics, okay. Oh, right, everyone's writing mechanics now. Okay. What, a book on mechanics? Strange. Okay. Good, good, good. All the above. Cool. It finally looks like I hit the last question. Any more questions? Any more questions? So, I think, do you know, I did have one. I'm going to have to reply privately now because I didn't talk about it in the video, which is a bit annoying. Actually, I'm very quickly gonna answer this question also. You know, I've got one on my on my Instagram, and I was going to answer in private, but I think it holds value here this evening on what we're discussing. And it's about a student. So it's a teacher-student relationship. And the student will not share their energy with anyone other than their guide. So they won't talk to a communicator. It has to be done via a guide, which is neither right or wrong. You know, we have to appreciate that the stories, the myths, the way the spirit world has been portrayed for the last 150 years is one that is very fear-based. A lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge has created literature and videos and understandings that aren't true. They're not real. But through lack of everything, they've managed to get into the minds of certain people. And so if you are very frightened, you are someone that's very frightened, I say to you that a protective white cloak is not required. You don't have to sit and sort of change your awareness for 10 minutes. You don't have to do these things. However, if you are a student that does require that, it makes you feel safer and you are a better medium because of it, then I say do it. Then fine, do it. Just know that you don't have to do it. And so you can do communication with people that are immediately there. You know, the guide is obviously there. Some people would call that a gatekeeper, a doorkeeper, an angel, whatever the terminology. It doesn't matter what the terminology is. You know your team is there and the communication will take place. Now, for me, it's just simpler to see Father and feel Father and work with Father because his daughter's there. However, I understand that my team are there also. Everything's done in love, and whether that father was someone that's very, very angelic and was wonderful his entire life, or if he was an absolute pig of a man and raped and molested people, that makes it no different. It's his evidence. It's not his spirit, it's his earthly evidence. So I know he can't harm me, and I know he won't harm me, and I know that no harm can come to me whatsoever. The only harm that can maybe happen is the replaying of it in my mind later on. Maybe I'm disturbed. But then I would believe, I totally, wholeheartedly believe that I wouldn't see imagery that would haunt me later on. My team protects me in that way. So the person that asked me to talk about this was like, I know that they don't need to do that, but how do I get them to see that they don't need to do that? Is we have to educate ourselves logically. We have to. And we have to understand that the spirit world are a world of intelligence, much, much more than we will ever comprehend. If someone's asking you to open chakras and you just simply do not agree with that, then that's absolutely fine. It's your truth. It's your truth. It's fine. And I will demonstrate mediumship on a platform near you somewhere on the globe, in this galaxy somewhere. I will demonstrate mediumship where you will see me smoking a cigarette, drinking a Red Bull 1 minute, and then walk in on stage and immediately move my mind and go to the spirit world and get the communicator and start the evening. I will do that immediately, every single time without fail. It's not arrogant, it's confidence. I know my team and I know that they will always be there, and they always do it through the essence of that I know of spirit, which is love in purity. So I know it will never fail. It will never ever fail. So I have no fear where the spirit world are concerned. However, I do understand that people are pulled in and they do get it wrong and they do believe the videos and the hype and the myths and the whatever it will be. And so we have to encourage people to grow. We have to allow them a place of expression. Some will pick it up very quickly, others need the fear broken down. And so each student is an individual with a unique relationship. So I would educate logically. I would nurture them. If they need to protect, then let them protect. Then show them that they don't need to protect through demonstration. So I felt that needed talked about. Hopefully my person that asked me the question gets to see the video here on YouTube. But I think, am I at the end? Am I at the end? I think we're there, we're there. It looks that way. Good. Absolutely no problem. You are the reason that I do these live feeds. Your questions, your inboxes, your messages. All I ask is that you be part of it. I don't mind your questions coming in anonymously. I would prefer them on the channel. I would prefer them that way so people can see, because then the channel gets the interaction. I ask who is brave enough or who stands strong enough in their belief, in their mediumship, to share the videos, especially these kind of ones. Have a say, be part of that movement. Help me grow the channel. It's one of those things. So remember, one place left on the mentorship here in the UK, in Essex. If you want to make any inquiries, you can do it via the channel. It would be better through Facebook page, Medium Charlie Kelly, or via the website, mediumcharliekelly.co.uk. But for now, I think I'm done. I've got nothing really to advertise. I think my January workshop is sold out, which is coming up. I start my platform again soon. So if I'm not in an area near to you, maybe get onto your centres or talk to me, where we can arrange private events and get me in your local area. I'm up for that. So thank you for joining me. Comment on the video when it goes live onto the channel. Although you've had massive interaction, it still helps. Share the video. I think that's about it. I'm gonna go and have a cigarette, a nice cold drink, rest my voice. I will schedule the next one, where I invite you to all come along, invite your friends to come along, where we can get that watching number up a little bit and we can help a few people along the way. Any ideas, obviously send them in, and I will see if I can do videos for you. And until next time, I will leave a few adverts at the end if you want to get some contact details. And I'll see you with uploads during the week and a new live feed promoted soon. Thanks for joining me. Look after yourselves. Speak to you soon.